Hi there guys, this is Farmer Bob. Welcome to my channel. Great to be back guys. I haven't made a normal video in a while. But yeah, if this is your first time on my channel, a warm welcome to you. Great to be back guys, and remember to like and subscribe. I know you guys are awesome out there, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate, man. So today's video guys, I'm going to do a custom, I think this is a sheep pen. Just want to make sure. Yeah. Sheep on big. So we're going to build a custom sheep pen into this area here, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You can take any of the in-game how do you call it, animal pens and customize them in this way. And I'm going to take you step by step through the whole process, how I do it, the easiest way I've found it, the quickest way I've found to do it, and I'm going to show you just how to work around a few errors as well. The normal common ones is like this and this and this animal with the head offset of 0.8 or point whatever is far out of the, not far, but is out of the nav mesh and whatever that error. I'm going to show you how to fix that or how to do that. We will probably get it while we do this process, so stick around guys, grab your favorite drink, sit down and relax with me. We're gonna do it, man. Great. So first of all, what I've done is I've just imported the Shibon Big directly. So I went file import from Farming Simulator Data Placeables, Rudolf Hoffman, and then Shibon Big. It should be Shibon Big. There it is. So I just imported that and placed it there, and there you are. That is what I've done so far, just to save a bit of time. And that's your first step, obviously, is to just bring the whole barn in here, place it in the center of the area where you want to work. Why I do that is then I have my transform group, or my main transform, roughly at the coordinates of the barn itself, you know, so I can build a custom unit like that and then export it and zero it, and then everything should be perfectly fine. But if I now leave the shoe barn right there in at position 0, it's going to be a problem for the main transform, you know. So rather do it this way, place it here in the middle of the area where you want to work, and we're going to do that. So very first thing of obviously is we're going to get rid of all the visual stuff. The visual stuff is all the stuff that you can see. Now there you go, is the visuals. We're going to go through this and get rid of the winter. We not need the winter because there's no roof or anything in this area. So the winter area, I just want to see, there's just snow and icicles. We can delete that. The roof we can get go, the glass we can get go, screw we can go, fence we can, I think that's internal. Yeah, that stuff we can get go. We don't need those. Shibon Big, that we can get rid of. And then animal feeders we want to keep, because that's just I think these ones probably normally run along with the what they call is, we will look at it later on, is your feeding spots, you know. So yeah, I'll leave those intact. So that's all we have left on LOD 0. And now the logos we can get rid of, we don't need those. And then LOD 1 has got in it roof, that we can get rid of. Glass, big LOD, and there you go. So all those things are gone. Collisions, I normally just grab this whole collision thing and delete it, because we don't want any collisions here. Coming to think of it, yeah, we can just delete the whole transform for the collisions. We're not going to use that. I just want to make sure now, maybe I'm talking trash. I just want to quickly see what I did for the other husbandries, because I've done already the horse barn as well. Did I leave the collisions? I'm sure I deleted it. Yes, I've done that. Okay, so back to the sheep barn. Good. All right, so just get rid of all the visual stuff first. There's some doors and things that we want to get rid of, so that is all done. The control box, we're not going to use that. Test paint areas, all these areas you can leave, you're not going to use that. The lights we can get rid of, we're not going to use that. The doors we're not going to do. The warning stripes, we're going to keep those because we want to move those about. The fences we're not going to use, so you can delete that. Navigation, you leave pallet areas, that's for the wool, we're definitely going to need that. Water and storage, that's all stuff that needs to stay. Alright, I think we've done all the basics. So if we come in close now, we shouldn't see anything floating about that we don't want. If there is something, you must definitely have a look at it and delete it or get rid of it, and that's just the way we're going to do it. Alright, now first of all, this animal pen has got this water tubby thing there, so we're going to just get rid of that. A water trough, we're not going to use that because we've got our own little ones here that we want to keep from the sheep barn. It's like a auto water with a float ball valve and whatever that keeps the little thing or the thing saturated with water. Alright, so I just want to have a look. Map items. Oh, that is stuff there. So we can now go back here to our sheep barn. Alright, now all we're going to do now is start on top and work through the whole barn up to the bottom, and then we are done with all our basic stuff in the i3D. Alright, so first of all, I like to put my teleport node. This is what happens when you click on visit. If you select it on your map in-game and you click visit, it will teleport you to this position. So I'm going to put that here in front of the sheep barn. Bloop, just like so. And then the next thing is food. Alright, so food, you can immediately see is connected to this 4 little feeders. So what I'm going to do now, you can now move them about, put them here on the side, one by one. I just want to have a look at the bale trigger, sect full root node, and food plane. Okay, the plane is one thing. Oh, that is actually very sad on this. It is sad because now we can't split the plane. We can't move the little feed spots like I wanted to. If you want to maybe move it to the side, but I suppose thinking of of having a feeding spot, you can now leave them like that. It should be all right. I wonder. That is only the planes, so yeah, just leave them as, let them be where they are. The sheep will come in and walk around and eat from them anyway, so let's just leave them as is. But you can obviously move them about if you want to. You can take these 4 food planes and maybe put that all 4 of them here, for instance. But I think the spot where it is it's sufficient. It doesn't really matter. Now the bale trigger, I first want to go to the marker for the bale trigger is where you offload bales for the food. Then it will actually appear in the food thing. So what I want to do is I want to make a because this is going to be my loading spot for the animals, where we load the animals, and then I also want to do the wool as well as this spot here for the bale. So I think maybe it would be a nice thing to let me just do this and then just paint here a bit, get rid of all that ugly stuff, and then what we'll do, I just want to get my right mouse button to subtract. What we'll do is just do this, make some space here for our custom bale trigger, Control B. So what you can do is just select here by visible and you'll see the bale trigger, what it looks like, So it is a bit long and wide, so we can make it smaller. It doesn't really matter. Honestly doesn't matter how big it is, but we can make it a bit wider like that. Suppose that's all right. I just don't want it to go into the area here where I'm going to have my offload spot, So let's just leave it like that. That's fine. Now the exact full root node is for your bales. So what I'm going to do is the trigger itself is it's like a slab, So you can see I'm going to put my triggers so that the bottom just disappears underground. Then I know it's going to detect everything that's above the ground. So that's fine. So I can make that invisible again. And then the exact full root node, what I'm going to do is grab the bail trigger, just grab the Control Shift C, then I'll copy all three of those, go to the full root node and do the same there, Control Shift V. You see, and we can make that one visible and make that one bigger as well, just like that, just like so. The food plane is going to be in the little trough, so we leave that as is. What I want to do then is just this exact full root node needs to do the same with that, just have the bottom of it disappear just underground, then I know all is well. Alright, so those two are done. We've got our bail triggers there, so that's the food sorted out. Storage you can leave where it is. It's just a empty transform, but it has got functionality. That's storage for the animal pen that you are busy with. Alright, so water. Now the water is nice. Unfortunately, we can move the water about. So I'm going to Control B the water and then just place that there. Make it look nice like that so the animals can go and have some water there. Just make sure that it's nice on the ground and not in the air, because that's normally an issue. You see, if I didn't do that now, trough 1, you see the planes now, unfortunately, once again, and this is like on a slope, so we're going to have to maybe modify the because trough 1 and 2 is now split, but the water plane now, unfortunately, once again, it's one item. It's not plane 1 and plane 2, so you cannot split the whole thing. So what I'm going to have to do then is just level the ground probably a little bit, and I don't want to slope it because it's going to look horrible if you slope it. So if we level the ground a bit, once again go to replace here on my right mouse button, and then Control and R, that is I'm going to use the middle of the two, Control and R there, so we should have 152. Just want to see why am I not seeing my oh, you know what, it's because of this funny business of this map. Okay, I think plan B is this thing level here. Let's just find a more level spot for the water, then let's not bother. Control and B, find a more level spot where it can stand. I think there is gonna look all spiffy. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in there and be done with it. Don't want to waste too much time. You can do it on your own time and whatever. The idea is just to show you how to do it. Alright, so there we go. Palette areas. Okay, so palette areas it's one thing normally. So we're going to grab the whole palette area. It's at 0.0. So that cannot be. Palette trigger and start, and so there's two spawning ends, start and end. Yeah. So what we're going to do is just move the trigger about, because at the moment the palette area is at 0.0, which already tells you something is afoot. So we're going to put the palette spawning thingamabobby this side. Going to do the same here for the grass area here. Just going to grab this grass and just paint it here so it looks a bit better. Yeah, I think that's alright. I'll make it look nice later on. Alright, so palette area, palette trigger, we're going to go in here, Control B. If you look at the trigger, once again, make it visible. Rather put it sideways like that. So we totally customize this thing to our liking. That's the whole idea of this. We can totally swing it about and flip it around and do everything to it the way we like it. Alright, and then area start and end. Actually, what I want to do, guys, is before I know, doesn't matter. The palette is going to start and end, and it's going to start and end over the trigger. So I think marker wool, let's just grab the marker wool, put the marker wool here, and then if you don't have the marker wool, it's going to be easier to align everything if the markers are in place, you know. So let us just get the markers here, like so. Just swing them about quick and easy. Yeah, I think might be a little bit too much that way. Okay, so it looks like the top left is first out of the ground. So what we do then is just grab them individually and then align them all just manually. That one, this one, and lastly but not least this one here. Yeah, that one was fair ways up. These things are nasty to align because sometimes they hang in the air. I hate it when you get into the map. There's some stuff hanging in the air, you know. It doesn't look good. That's the main point. Alright, so here we go. Look at that one. That one. That looks alright. It looks alright. Okay, good. Now the trigger. So now we can grab that trigger, get back to the trigger. Food palette area, palette trigger. You see, now it's actually much easier to align the trigger, guys. So once you've got the little markers in place, it's much easier just to get this trigger close enough. It's not like 100% that it needs to be. It's as long as your trigger is just somewhere there, you know. So that's the trigger. Start and end areas, so we can take the trigger away. Start and end area 1. So we're going to go there. Control B, drop that there. Just want to see where the end area is. So we're going to have to swing that start 90 degrees like that. For some reason that is very strange. End. Alright, so that is our start. It needs to go that way a little bit. And end there. Alright, that's our 1. And then 2, Control B. I wanted to do the sheep one with you guys, because the sheep one, it's nice. It's got a little bit more different things than the horse and the cows, you know. So, and I've already done a cow one. Oh, I shouldn't move that. Shouldn't move that one. What we should do is move this one if the other one is not nicely done. That's better. Okay, so these are palette spawning points all done. So we're done with that. Navigation route node. So that will be for okay, this is where it becomes interesting. This is now the area where your sheepies walk. Now what I normally do, guys, is I just leave this for now just as the walking plane. I just leave it like that. Let's just make it visible, because what happens is the walking plane is nice for that, and that first mesh is great for having the sheep just walk that area out, you know. So I'm going to leave that standard, and then we're going to just build with the planes onto that. Alright, so first things first is create a primitive, a plane, and then the plane will come at the bottom. I'm going to Control Exit, Control X, and then go into the, where is it now? Navigation route node, Control V to place it in there. Navigation mesh. Alright, and then the very first thing you need to do to this plane is go to the shape file, the nav mesh mask. To build it, you need marker 30, is it? Sorry, 1 to 7. Okay, so you have to use this 1 to 7. I think it's called FE if I'm correct. Yeah, FE. So you want to just type in FE here, and it will automatically mark the 7 for you there. Alright, so that is very important to keep in mind. And then navigation mesh. You see that one is 0, so we can also just FE that one, because we're going to make a new plane for it to walk on. So that is the first thing, because we're going to use this to duplicate planes and carry on with that. So first of all, we want to select, make it non-renderable, so we can actually see it. So oh yes, and then these other 3 needs to be selected on that plane as well, because once you've duplicated it, you want to have everything set on it, so that you can save yourself a bit of time, because you're going to have to come back and make them invisible again, you know, make them non-renderable again once you've done all of them. Alright, so now all we're going to do now is move this out, and then the tip I want to give you is never Control B this. Just move it, even if your animal pen is on a slope, just work it from the top like so. Go, zoom out a little bit, and the way to know if you're on top is have a look at your circle here. If you're at an angle, you'll see it will make a belly. If it's at the belly there, you know you're not really on top. But if it's a complete circle, then yeah, you know you're close to on top of it, you know. So just do that, and then we're going to expand it a little bit, make it bigger like so, and then just move it out. I'm going to put it like that. And I want to have that one nice and big. Don't worry if it goes underground, guys. Don't try and fiddle with it and make it skew and bring it up and down and all that kind of things. Okay, so if I'm going to zoom out a bit more, you will see, if you zoom out far, you will see the edges of your thing anyway, you know. So yeah, that will be perfectly all right. So I'm going to go Control D on that to duplicate. I'm going to make another one, and then I'm going to move that one into place. I have to come in close again, so I can turn this to the side like that. Just move that in there. Now what you want to do, guys, is there's a tree here. So normally you will want to not have a mesh going over your tree. So you will want to block it so that there's like a hole around the tree, which is good. These little brushes, is this a tree as well? Yes, it looks like a tree. Yeah, it is a tree. So these little brushes, trees and stuff that's in the way, you can nav mesh around them, which will be the right way to do it, you know. But in my case, I'm just going to not worry too much about it now. So I'm going to just have it like that, approximately. Get it out a little bit more. And this is a thing of, it doesn't really matter. You're not too worried about how close you are to the fences, because it's just an area for the cows to browse on. So I'm going to go Control D again. I could have actually just used that one, come back to this one, and just stretch it out this way, a long way. Bring it out. Oh, that's too long. Okay, we're getting there, guys. So that looks just about right, just like that. I think that's okay. And then lastly, this last one, push it out. Yeah, that can be expanded a little bit. See there, it's close to my fence, which is all right. I can move it a tiny bit back, and I think that for me it's perfectly okay. There is a little gap there which we can close. just by grabbing another plane, Control D. Let's maybe swing it this way, make it a bit thinner, and put one in there as well. That way we can have some sheep and stuff walking that way too. And then last but not the least, Control and D, let's just close that little gap there. Don't like gaps like that, unnecessary gaps. So all we're going to do is make this thing tiny again. Just overlap that. Just like that. So if we now zoom out far, we should actually now see all our navigation stuff is like that. You see? So there you go. Alright, so that is all done. Done and dusted. I'm happy with that. We can now move on to the warning stripes. So we'll come back to these once we've exported, guys. So at the moment, just leave it as is, and then we're going to get to the markers. Okay, warning stripes, marker food. So marker food is that little icon, and we have put the bales there. The food we have put here, Control B. So that's our marker, we want it here. Marker animals is the one where you buy, Control B. I'm going to put it right here in front, the gate. And then marker wool. Okay, that we've already moved into place, so nice. All that is sorted. Then the loading trigger, guys. The loading trigger, if you make it visible, that is the little spot where you gonna load your animals. So I'm going to put that trigger here, where the marker is for the loading. So if I look at marker marker animals, it's there, and my loading trigger is there. Yeah, that's perfectly alright. Just sort of align it to the middle of the gate. So that's fine with me. And then I will just make it invisible again. The info trigger, visible. Alright, so the info trigger is when you walk into the actual sheep barn, you will see the information and stuff of the sheep and whatever. So I'm just going to grab that and drag it to here where my triggers is, you know, or is sitting around. I'm just going to sort of drag it over here, just like that. Should be fine. Alright, so that will be our info trigger. It's like when you walk into that area, it will display a little message here in your HUD that you are now into the sheep pen and is owned by you and that type of nonsense. Alright, clear and leveling areas. Now, clear area and leveling area, so let's have a look at those. This pen is a bit skew. It's not really like a square, you know. So what I'm going to do is just go Control B, drop it from there, I think, and then width, Control B. I'm going to make it on the other side of this thing, and then height, Control B. I'm going to just drop the height up there for that one. So it is start here, width there, and then height there. So it will be sort of, it's going to go over there a little bit, because it's skew, fairly skew. So what I'm going to do here then is on the number 2, I'll just make this block here a little bit, sort of there, and then height sort of there. That should be all right. Just to, yeah, it's a crazy skew thing. This leveling areas, these things, the clear, all these areas that we're doing now is actually just used for when you place this thing as a mod. But because we have already placed it down here, that is not really going to be relevant at all for our positioning and whatever, you know. So I'm just going to go to clear. I should have left that now. We've done the clear areas, the leveling areas that we want to go to. Control P. So I'm just going to sort of do them on top of one another. I wonder if that is now going to sit up in the tree. Yeah, it is. Just wanted to do it there. I should have actually, because there's nothing really up there, you know, so maybe we should have just done the leveling area and all that. What I want to do is just move that like so, and then our height, just put it maybe there, so it will use this area there. It's okay. Paint areas, same with paint area. Just want to see, where is that start? Okay, it's there. Now the paint area, guys, important, that is for your grass. It's the same as your foliage areas. It's for where your grass is going to grow, so that is fairly important. So we're going to do the paint area, I think, from this corner onwards. Control B, and then width B. I'm going to go for about somewhere there, and then our height come down this way. We'll see in game what it looks like, you know. Foliage areas, the same thing with that. Somewhere there, our width, bring it down somewhere there, and our height. It's just, I'm going to take this a fair way down, somewhere there. Indoor areas, we don't really have indoor areas that much, so I'm going to just delete that, and then the indoor areas, what's available there, just leave it be, you know, because we don't have an indoor area anymore. So I'm just going to leave it there for the sake of the index path, you know, but it's not really necessary. But if you take it out, you might get a message saying there's no indoor areas, you know. I've seen that before, so I'm just going to leave that. We don't have indoor areas for the sheep anymore, so it's not going to bother anyone. Test areas, the same thing with that, so I'm going to just delete one of them, and start and end. Just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to bother. We've just taken out the one, so there's only one. Tip occlusion updates. This is the thing that blocks or stops you from tipping stuff where you're not supposed to, you know, so we don't have to move that about, just leave it in. Visuals, we've gone through that, so that is, I think, the whole thing done. Right, so now, guys, now the magic happens. So we're going to select the whole main transform of the sheep barn, go File, Export with Files, and we're going to go into our mods, open the map. Wherever you put your placeables, go in there and create a new folder for it. So I'm going to create a new folder called Custom Sheep, like so. And then grab that name, don't change the name, so name it that. We should actually have copied that before we start exporting, but because I've missed it now, I'm just going to type it in. So it is sheep barn with a capital B and then big. So it's nice to keep the names the same, you know, then you don't have to change the names of the XMLs and all that is to come. Great, so now we have the thing. We have to obviously put it in this folder and save it, and then when it gets to this, very important, go yes at both questions, because we want the whole sheep barn that we've modified to have all its textures, shaders, everything in working details, leave that in game. So we only export the i3D with all the links to the main game. So now that we've exported that, we can now just save our map like that, and then minimize it once it's finished saving, and then we're going to focus on that on this here, on this one that we've exported. So I'm going to go to the place where I've exported custom sheep, and that's what I was saying, guys. If you now right click and open this with Notepad++, you'll see that everything is $data, which means the whole sheepbarn is still in the in-game folders. Is where you want it. You don't want to make your map unnecessarily bigger. And look at the size of that. It's a few kilobytes, the whole sheepbarn, compared to where if you have copied that whole sheepbarn or exported it with its files, it will be like 10 or 12 megabytes, you know, which at the end of the day, if you have a lot of custom stuff, it makes your map size so much bigger. But this is the way to keep it small. All right, so now we're going to open this, and this is now where we're going to start working with that that meshes that we've exported or created, the navigation meshes. Okay, so what we want to do is this navigation route node. Just now go through all of these and make sure for some reason it keeps throwing this plane out as 0. It should be FE. Alright. Alright, so that is good. So we're going to grab this whole transform and go File, Export Selection. This is just a temporal thing, so all you can call it is mesh, and keep it in the same directory as where you've saved it. So we're going to just save it. Alright. I can actually try. Let's just go do it the right way, because I like to do it the other way around, because then you don't have problems. Okay, so now we're going to open that mesh by itself. Just open that. Let's have a look at it. Alright, there it is. Nice. So we're going to take that walking plane and then just delete that walking plane. Right, so we're not going to use the walking plane. We want to have only the mesh. So with the main transform selected, we now want to just go create nav mesh. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. And for sheep, it is 0.7, the radius for sheep. So 0.7 is very important to add that in there. And then click create, and there it is. Close. If you have your nav mesh showing up there, you are a happy man. If you haven't got your nav mesh up there, check your console. It will tell you exactly what the problem is. So if we open this console of ours, output 33 polygons and vertices, so there it is. It will tell you here exactly what to do. Sometimes you've forgotten maybe to put one of these planes shape file to build a nav mesh. If you haven't got that FE there, it will tell you here, go into the shape and add build nav mesh thing. So you just click on here, type FE, and all should be well. Alright, so let us leave it as is. And now what we're going to do is grab the nav mesh alone, file, export. First of all, because we have the custom sheep now, let us just go into the in-game maps and grab ourselves a XML. So we're going to go File, Placeables, Rudolf Hoffman, sheepbarn big, and these are our XML. So copy that, and we want to go back into our map directory. Now, it doesn't matter where you put your XML. I put mine in my XMLs folder because that's where I put all my XMLs. There's the horse and the cow. So we're going to paste it in there and open it up. So what I want to do now is have a look at the nav mesh. So it's calling this nav mesh out of this XML, and we need to find the nav mesh. Here it is. Alright, so this directory we need to change, but what I want to do is just grab this name here, double click, Control C, come back into our nav mesh, and now we select the nav mesh, file, export selection, You can only export selection, you don't have to go with files. So just go export selection, and now in the same directory, Control V, just do that, save, and you are all done. And now we can close. I'm just going to save it as is. This is just a navigation root node, so if we want to come back and do some changes, I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, save it and leave it. Okay, so now we know the name is right, but we need to just fix this directory here. That's our next thing to do. So back to Map Alpine, placeables, and then find your folder for the sheep. Copy this directory, like so. So from your map folder, right down to the end, copy everything after your map name. So copy that, Control C, go into the XML and overwrite everything here in front, like so. Control V. Double click on each backslash and make it a /. Very important, guys, because if you don't do that, you're going to have errors that you can't find the root node or all stuff like that. Okay, so that now is done and dusted, our navigation mesh. Now the next thing on the custom i3D is we start from the top. The image we can leave in-game because that's still same store data we leave, we don't change anything there. But at our file, the i3D has now changed. It's not the Rudolf Hofmann anymore. It is now the one in our map folder, which we already have. So all we need to do is override this whole section there, just like that, and make the /. Could have actually just copied that bottom one and then didn't even have to do the /s again. Good, so now it's pointing to our Shibon big, which is good. Alright, and now guys, believe it or not, we're not finished, but we are now ready to start balancing this XML with our i3D. So that's our next step to do, is to grab the i3D, this whole i3D, and just balance it with the XML. So what I normally do is make this thing movable, make it small like that, so I can move it here to the side, because all we are interested in is to see our attributes window as well as our scene graph, because we need to have this attribute visible so we can change everything here into our liking. Now from the top it will start together with this whole thing, make sense in a little bit. Alright, so teleport node, that will actually be here at the bottom. So first things, let's just run once through the XML and delete the stuff that we know we have changed, So animated objects, we don't have any animated objects anymore. So doors, lights, all of that stuff is going to be deleted. So I'm just going to select everything in animated objects, get rid of that. Dynamically loaded parts, the switches and control panel, we've deleted that. So the whole thing there goes, we don't need that. Lights, the whole light section, we don't need that anymore. Info trigger, we're going to leave. Husbandry, we're definitely going to leave. Except for the fences, we don't need the fences anymore. So select all the fences like that and delete. Palettes is good. And then in i3D mappings, palette trigger, palette, fence, markers, door. So from door there down to light switch, loading trigger to light switch there. So the last of the light switches that we delete. Clear area, leveling, foliage, test area, tip occlusion. Then here's fences. I was going to say there should be fences. So all the fences we're also going to delete. And that's all the quick and easy visible things. Control box, that's one we don't need anymore. Indoor, foliage, paint, clear, info trigger. Alright, so it looks like we've quickly just got rid of all the stuff. So let us start from top and see what we have to work with. So placement first. We've got test areas. So let us go into the RCD again. So first of all, place areas. So test areas. Look for the test areas. Here we go. So we only have one test area. Test area 2 we have deleted, so we can delete it on this side too. Very important to have it all the same. So let us carry on. Bring that up again. Sounds. Sounds is alright. I don't think that's really a matter. And then the next one is clear areas. So clear areas, we've got 1 and 2, which is alright. Clear area 1 and 2, that's fine. Leveling. So the next one is leveling. We've got leveling 1, so level areas, there's only 1, that's right. And then paint areas, paint area we only have 1 as well, so that's okay. Our next one, I don't want to click here every time because then my thing disappears on this side. So what you can do is just move this up to the top, so that's now on the top where we are, and then come down here so we have things. So the next one then is AI, indoor. Indoor we've got 1 and 2, so let us find the indoor here. Clear, level, paint, foliage, indoor. So indoor we only have 1. So indoor areas 1 we have to delete, so there's only 1 section. Right, so the next is tip occlusion updates. No, that's here at the bottom. There's only the 1, which is good. Next one is AI. I think that might be, oh, that's a tip occlusion still. Alright, so that's fine. Then trigger markers, all of those we definitely need. We've missed the wool decal. I haven't seen that at trigger markers, so let's just have a look here at trigger markers. I think it's warning stripes, marker wool. Yeah, there it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. We missed that somehow, so that is quite scary. So let's just maximize this. And the problem now, guys, is we now have this thing that we've exported, so we can't really. I want to just go into this marker wool, press F. Okay, that's those things. Doesn't really matter. Okay, forgot about that. Nothing to worry about, guys. Alright, so the markers are fine. I was just going to say, I can't recall that we've missed something. Hotspot, there's nothing there to worry about. It's the teleport node. It's the one right on top. That's your teleport node. Info trigger, that's there. That's no problem. And then animals, that's good. The pallets, food, everything there. We haven't done any changes there. And then there's no nodes here. Food plane, my dry gas window. Okay, that's just the animals. Okay, so the next thing, guys, is our i3D mappings. Now this is where we start balancing these things, the little nodes on the actual i3D. So that will be from the top teleport node. It's 0, 0. So all you do is click on it and make sure that your index is 0, 0. If it's not 0, 0, if it's 0, 1 here, you have to change your XML to 0, 1. You can't change the i3D because we want the i3D to be the same, or we want the XML to say what the i3D is. So what the i3D, whatever the i3D value is, you change it in the XML. Alright, so bail trigger 0, 1, 0. So we find the bail trigger, food, and then bail trigger. There it is, 0, 1, 0. So that's still good. Full root node 0, 0, 1. 0, full root node 0, 1, 1. Sorry, what am I talking about? That's good. Food plane 0, 1, 2. Food plane 0, 1, 2. That's fine. Storage 0, 2. Storage 0, 2. And then next is water. Okay, next one here is pallet trigger. So you find that pallet trigger. There it is, pallet trigger. So it's 040, pallet trigger. Pallet area 1 start 041. So that's the start 041. I think we can skip to pallet end here. Just make sure that's 0420, 0420, so that's still the same. Our next one is navigation route node 05. 05, so that's good. Marker food, you have to do this all right through to the end, because there's stuff that's going to change, guys. We'll get to them just now. So navigation route node is 05. Then we have marker food. Marker food is there. It is 06. Marker food is 07. You see, now we need to change this to 6, because you don't want it to be different. So marker food navigation route node, so that's 6, and then marker food is 6. Sorry, navigation was 5, and then this one is 6. Marker food. All right, marker animals is then 061, so that's going to go to 61, just like that. So we change that to 6. Wool decal, right? So we're going to go to marker wool decal 1 7. So it's 620. So we change all 4 of these to 6. And then load trigger is our next one. Loading trigger is 7, so that 10 becomes a 7. Info trigger will be 8, I believe. That will be 8, yes. Double click there, so it's just 8. And then the rest of it should be straightforward and simple as to just rename them in sequence. So the next one, clear areas, will be 9 if you look at that. So all of the 12s needs to become 9. So 9, 9, 9, 9, like so. And then all the 13s needs to become 10s. So they're in sequence, guys. Oops, not 11, 10. Just like that. So just to test, paint area should be 11. Let's have a look if that is true. So we are at paint areas, it's 11, yes. So all the 14s becomes 11s. And the 15s becomes 12. And that becomes 13. So it is actually not too difficult if you do it in sequence like this, guys. So there you go. And then test area 1 start. Test area is 17. Let's just verify test area. That's 14. So we're still on track, guys. 14. 14. Oops. Just like that. And then the two 18s becomes 15s. And that's the end of it, guys. So that is the way you balance your XML. So if all is well now, guys, I'm sure we will have a working Shibon. Going to save the XML like that. Leave it open for a comeback. And then in here, all we want to do is make sure all our triggers are invisible again. Yeah, I think we've been very good like that. So now save it. So now, guys, you want to go into your XML for your maps, your placeables.xml. So I'm going to go into my map and open my placeables. And then the way to do this properly, to get one of these placeables, is to go open the map or open the game. Just open the game, normal FS22 game. Go into the Elm Creek map. Don't go into your own map. Just go into the Elm Creek map. Straightforward, buy the husbandry that you've customized. So buy it, place it, save the game, and then go into the save game, open that placeables, and then you've got this whole nice line section with everything in it. And then what we're going to do now is just get to the sheep barn. There it is. And then open, just make sure our sheep barn is 8141057. So we have now the whole translate for that. So we're going to change that into the sheep barn. I think mine is already done. Sheep barn, That's the wrong shibon. There must be another one. No, it is this one. Just want to see if I've got another shibon. Just quickly scroll through the whole thing. Yep, I've got another shibon. 8151057. There it is. Okay. So what I want to do now is, remember we've customized it. So I'm going to take this shibon and change this directories now to the same ones that we have in our shibon.xml. It's still open here. So it's, but mind you, the XML is not in there. The XML is under our maps, map Alpine XML, map Alpine XML. It's there. Mine is in this directory, so you have to change this into your directory. Okay, and that's the horse barn. So I'm going to go in there, Control V, just like so. It's going to be best to I'm confused now, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and think. So it's maps, map Alpine XML, and then just shibon big, just like so. Alright, so that's why I left the name the same. So shibon big stays there. And then what you want to do is, if you've customized this XML of the shibon to be a placeable on one of your extra forms, not the default form. If it's your default form, you're going to leave this default form property true and form ID 1. But in my case, it's not part of the default form. It's a form ID other than, so it's one that you have to buy the property and then it becomes your form. So everything that's on that farmland will then take shape into that form. So I'm going to leave it as default form property false because it's not part of the default form, and form ID 0 for there. And then what I'm going to add to the XML here is there's a little text line that we need to go in at the farming simulator in-game directory. So you go data, placeables, map US, farm buildings, farm barn. So you just open this XML. There's some stuff in here that we want to make sure that ours have got. Bought with farmland, that is one line we definitely need. You copy that and go into your shibon XML and put it here in the base, because that is very important. So that is only if it's not on your default form, guys. If it's on your default form, the form that you start with in new farmer mode, then you don't put this bought with farmland in there. But if it's on any other form on your map, you add this line in there. And then very important, make sure there's a line here that says can be sold. Farm barn 2 can be sold. Let me just have a look. Can be sold. So copy that line, Control C, and go into shibon. I don't see it, but I'm going to paste it in here anyway, like so. Maybe we should just do it up here where the image and price and everything is. Control V, and then just double click one of them. So if there was another one, it will highlight. That's why I always double click. All right, so just add yourself a can be sold in there. And then also just want to see if it's important to have it show in store. This is also a line that you can add depending on if you want to or not. So I'm just going to add it anyway. Can be sold, Control Home, Control V, like so. And then I'm just going to say here true to show it in store, because it's a custom one now, guys. Do I want to show it in store? No, let's just Control Z that. Control Z, false, leave it false, because it's a custom one. You don't want to rebuy that. It's custom made for a specific spot, so you don't want to show it in store to buy again. But it can be sold. So when you click on it in your where you buy your buildings and that in your shop, you will click on it and then you can actually sell it from there, because it can be sold. All right, good. So that is all the stuff that we need to fiddle with on the XML. Going to leave this open, guys, so that we can come back to it. All right, so our XML is now there. located in our map directory under our XML folder. In there, our positioning and data is correct. Let's just make sure. Sheep on. So 814 and minus 1057 is where we are. 814 minus 1057, and that is fine, that is fine. And then animated objects we don't have. Husbandry pallets. Okay, so now this is the pig farm, guys. What am I busy doing with the pig farm? No, sorry, it is the sheep barn. Where do I see pig farm now? I'm going crazy, guys. Oh my word. Okay, so the animated objects we can delete. We don't have any animated objects anymore. Husbandry pallets, we leave that placeable. That is just the way we leave it. Alright, so save that XML. And now this directory, guys, because we've got a modified one, we also have to add it for the store data. So back into our map, open the main map, open the mod disk, and here at the store data, we're going to go Control C to copy, and then just paste a new line for us to modify. Now the thing is, I already have the sheep barn in there, but I have two sheep barns, so I can leave that line in there, and we're going to just put our custom one, obviously, from our placeables.xml. Grab the sheep barn here, this whole line from the XML, go in here to our mod disk, and overwrite this line here so that it can load the store data for that custom sheep barn. Alright. Woo! Okay, that was a mouthful, guys. I'm actually thirsty as I sit here. Been quite crazy. Alright, so now we at the time where we want to test, guys. We want to test this. Now this obviously is in my placeholders folder, guys. So it will not be visible in game. The one that I've got here, it's just there as a placeholder. It's not for gameplay. It's just for me to get the data here. So if I select the sheep-born big, not the horse-born, the sheep-born big, I can see what it is. I can actually delete it. We don't need it in the game. But once, while I'm busy developing and making the map, I leave it in my placeholders folder. Once the map is done, I can delete this whole placeholders folder, because nothing in here is of any value to the game. It's just something that shows me where it is, and I can work around it and make textures and build trees and whatever. So it's not something for the game, it's something for the map here in the editor only. Nothing with the game. It's got nothing to do with the game. A lot of guys get confused with the placeholders folder and they don't understand the workings of it. It's just there for the Giants editor for you to build around your placeables, you know. So the things that actually is working in game, you can make your map look nice by having it in the map and see it, you know. But once you're done with your map and you've released the final version, you can actually delete this whole folder. You don't need it in your map anymore, you know. Anyways, that's my preference. I like it in the map. Always keep it in there so I can easily, quickly just come around and yeah, do stuff, make changes. Okay, so let's quickly run into the game and have a quick browse and see if our Shibon actually just pops up and if it actually works. That's the exciting part, guys. What funny things is there? Now this map I'm busy converting for someone else. It's not available for public use. It's just for someone that asked me to do it. So just be aware I'm busy doing it for someone else, and so there might be some errors on it. Always good to check your console while you load, and there is still some errors I need to fix, but yeah, that's my problem to do. But what I'm looking for here is anything pertaining to the sheep pen that I'm busy working on. That is what we are busy looking at. So this process here, the first time load normally takes a bit of time. I should have actually preloaded the map to be cached, you know, because that's just how Windows works. First time loads is a bit longer. That's animated objects and a few stuff that I need to sort with the FS19 stuff, with snow and all kinds of things that still just have to look at. But anyway, That's just sleep triggers. I didn't see anything yet. Oh, there you go. What was that? There's some child that we forgot. I quickly saw it passing by. The moment you see anything like that, you know we're going to have a problem with the sheep barn. There it is. So you will see sheep barn big. Children. So somewhere we missed something in that sheep barn, so it will not work, guys. When you see that error, you can know for sure that you have missed something in the XML. There's a child that doesn't have a parent, or a parent that doesn't have a child, so we're going to have to quickly just verify our XML once again. From the beep you hear there is our electricity that just went off, but luckily, praise the Lord, I've got a huge inverter and battery, so that's nice. Farm 2 barn that we finished with, placeables, I'm going to leave that open just for now, but what we want is the XML. So in the XML here, we have missed something, guys. Let's go back to our actual sheep barn. Let's minimize that again, and let's just once more just run through it. Make sure. So let's go to the XML and then verify the XML with that, because that's the XML is actually the thing that loads the R3D. So if the XML says there's a parent with 2 children and the R3D doesn't have that, that's when you get the message we just saw. So that is your troubleshooting there. Check your XML. Somewhere there's something that you have missed. Alright, the base can't have anything. Placement, test area. Alright, so placement, we've got test area there, so there should only be one under test area. So I just want to minimize the things that we don't use now. So test area has got only one, so it's not that one. Sounds placement. Clear areas, we've got 2. Alright, so clear areas, there's 2. That's correct. Right, clear areas, there's 2. Leveling, we've got 1. Just going to close the ones that we finished with. Leveling areas. Leveling area, we've got 1. Start, width and height. Where's the leveling area? There it is. Okay. Foliage area, we've got 1. That's right. Indoor, we've got 1. Okay, that's fine. AI. Now, strangely enough, I never saw any AI things here. Now, normally the AI is where you have your loading stuff going on. There's our loading trigger. It's the tip occlusion, sorry man, the tip occlusion update areas. Alright, so there it is. There's only 1. Okay, so tip occlusion is only 1. Start and end, that's fine. Trigger markers, they're all there. We haven't changed any of the trigger markers. The food, the animals, and the decals. By the way, the water on your sheep is automatic. It's the same as your cows. They your cow barn large has got an automatic water feeder. It's the same as that, so you don't have to worry about those. Info trigger. Now I think, if I remember correctly, there was a section called that we deleted. We deleted collision. So did I miss collision somewhere? Husbandry, pallets, water, food. Alright, so let's go from the top here by your mappings. Somewhere here we've missed something. So teleport node right on top. That's fine. Bale trigger, that's fine. There's a bale trigger. Full node, food plane storage. Pallet triggers, those up to 5. We've checked 6 marker animals. Decals, loading trigger. Okay, so loading trigger is 7. So now have a look at that one. Pallet trigger, it's not that one. Loading trigger there, it's 07, that's fine. 1, 2, 3. I don't see 3, guys. Where is 3? Why is there not a 3? That is a problem. So that's 0. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. So 3 is our water. I don't see our water. Where's our water? Okay, so what I want to do, Control F, water. Water. Did we now delete our water? Let's go back to the map. Just look in our map. So under placeholders, we got our sheep barn big. There it is. Open that up. Our water is under 4. What happened to our water, guys? Our water plane is there. Everything is there. There it is. So it's 3 here, which is alright. That is concerning. Let's just check. Maybe I've deleted it by accident. So let's go back into placeables. Rudolf Hoffman, sheep on big. There it is. And open this default one. Control F, water, just like that. That's water supply true. That is fine. Find next. So there's no root node for water. 0, 1, 2, and then 3. That is very strange. For a moment thought there that that was our problem. Okay, so that is definitely not it. Loading trigger, info trigger, and then all the areas. Tip occlusion, area 1500. Something might be there. Let's just have a look at the tip occlusion. That's 15.0 and 15.00. Okay, so it's not that. You know what, guys? I think it might be by these clear and leveling. That is what we need to make sure. So clear, we've got 2. So clear area 1 and 2. That is it. Clear area's got 1 and 2. That's fine. Leveling has only got 1. With height, paint, only got 1. Paint, foliage has got 1. Indoor has got 2. So our indoor areas, there it is, guys. That's our problem. Indoor areas has got 2. So what we need to do is just get rid of that 3. Indoor area 2, like so. Indoor area 1. Test area then becomes 14. Just make sure that's still alright. Test area. That's 14. Alright, so test area has only got 1. Alright, so that is our problem, guys. Believe it or not, it was the only issue we had. We can quickly run it through again. Just make sure that we are now safe and sound. Okay, go for it. If we see any errors pertaining our Shibon, we know we still have a problem, but I think we are safe now. Safe now from any other worries. Good. Sleep trigger. Yeah, there's still something there. Running a mock. What is that? Okay, it says 1410. Failed to find child 1 node. Test areas 1 child given. 1410. So let's have a look. Can you believe it? I hate this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just exit here, because that has now freezed our game. So I just exit. So 14.1. There's a problem here. Test area. With test area. Why have I got? So test area 1 start is 14.0. So test area 1 start is 14.0. That's correct. Then we have test area end 14.00. So I'm going to copy that. Test area end 14.00. And then test area 2. Ah, my word, there's another one, guys. So even that one there needs to be deleted as well. So test areas has only got, I don't know how to delete too much. Start and end. So it's only 2 that needs to go, not 3. Just like that. Right. My word, so there was actually 2 problems. I didn't notice that. I thought it was only 1. Okay, so let's just test again. Test and test and test. You see what I'm saying, guys? You have to, it's the XML that loads the i3D. So if the XML has got parts in it, oh no man, what am I doing now? If the XML has got parts in it that is not in the i3D, you're going to have problems, and vice versa. If the i3D has got stuff in it that's not in the XML, you're going to sit with exactly the same problem. It's going to tell you that there's children there that needs parents, and all that kind of stuff that we've just seen, or parents that is looking for children, stuff like that. So let's quickly have a look, guys, if we've beaten the i3D and the XML. Hopefully, third time lucky, like they always say. I don't really believe in that nonsense, but most of the time I'm first time lucky. But I think for the sake of the video, it's very nice that we've worked through all of those, and you can clearly see now that we should have a Shibon, but we don't have an icon there. It is here on top because the farmland is not bought. We don't own it. Alright, so here we go. So all we need to do is grab some money. Just want to add some bucks. Just like so. And then we have to buy that farmland. Farmland here. And I think it's this area here. I'm not too sure. Buy yes. That. Buy yes. Not too sure what I need to buy. But if I now come back, I don't even see the icon. So that is very strange. So let's just run here to the animal dealer, because I know this Shibon is here. And there's nothing here. No Shibon! Where's our Shibon? Okay, maybe time to have a quick browse at our log. So what you do, guys, if this happens, you want to find the Shibon big. It definitely loaded its R3D. There it is. The Shibon navigation mesh, and even the nav mesh loaded. Ah, you know what? Tough. Hey, it's one of the big problems, guys. I always say to the guys, zero your R3D once you've exported, and we totally forgot to do that. It's also very good that that happened now. Because imagine if it didn't happen, you got this problem all on your own. So what you do now, once you've done everything, guys, go to your Shibon main transform and just zero it here. Because now it's sitting somewhere in the sticks. Make sure your rotation and your positioning is all at 0. Just save it, and then you can go into the game. And now I can guarantee you the Shibon will be there. It was just somewhere else on the map. In a position, because it now had 2 sets of coordinates, and it normally adds the 2 together and spits it out somewhere where it's not supposed to be. Because the XML already tells it, your placeables XML, you already put the coordinates and rotation for it in there. So if you don't zero your R3D, it will have 2 sets of positioning, and it will add the 2 together. So yeah, it will end up somewhere off map or somewhere where it's not supposed to be. So if something similar happens to you, just remember, make sure your R3D is zeroed once you're done with the whole process. Okay, so let's once more buy the farmland. I know that it should be there now still. Still not, but let's go and have a look there. Animal farm, let's just visit this. Oh, no icons, nothing. Why don't we have the sheep barn, guys? Am I still missing something? There's the one sheep barn there. I don't see anything off screen. It's supposed to be here, but it's not. Okay guys, I finally figured out what the problem was with my sheep barn. Something stupid, I'll show you just now. Anyway, just to test, I'm back in game. I've just bought the farmland. Now, the moment you go back to your farmland, you'll see your icons suddenly appear. There they are. I've bought the cow barn, the horse barn, everything, so the icons immediately appear because we've said buy with farmland, you know. So now we are there. So we're going to go to the sheep. I want to just see if this thing works now. No, it's still out in the field. So this spawn point for some reason pops me in here. So I'm going to have to look why it puts me here. There is a problem with that. I don't like that. It's supposed to put me in front of the gate because that's where I put the teleport node. So I'm going to have a look at that. But anyway, the actual sheep barn works great. There is one or two small little problems. I want to show you what I mean. The first thing is when I buy the animals, let's just go, is it R, yes? Grab some of these, select, let's go 60, buy. Yes, okay. The thing with this map is what you see out there is actually off the map. That is, it's a weird map. I don't know why this guy has built this map like this. It doesn't make any sense. But the actual sheep barn is out here off map. Now, what happens is the actual map border now becomes part of the actual placeable field. I'm thinking of changing that. I might put the sheep barn here in map because it just doesn't make sense having it there. And now what happens is the actual new placement of FS22 that auto places your the actual navigation area where they walk on doesn't work properly. You can see the sheep is like walking halfway down. I've actually gone through the map's edge. Now I can't go back. You see, that is another problem. It gives me like a block here. And you can see the sheepies are walking underground, which is, it's terrible. So I'll just change that. What normally happens on your sheep barns in FS22 or your animal pens in FS22, the same here with the cows. You can see this cow surface is not it's not straight, it's unlevel, you know. So if I buy cows, just want to show you, let's just buy, yeah, that is fine, buy 60 of them, good. Now you can immediately see here they follow, the mesh now follows the terrain, but because that sheep barn is off the map, the actual terrain it's not there. So the sheep is just walking on a straight plane. So instead of following, look at these sheepies swimming. I love it. They're swimming. That's wonderful. They're cooling off in the hot summer. But anyway, so the actual mesh is not, the nav mesh is not following the terrain as it should. So that's why our sheepies there is walking on the actual plane and not on the terrain. So I'm going to do some thinking about it if I want to change it. But they do, this whole pen works. If you now buy some bales here, let's just drop some bales. And unfortunately you have to test everything, guys. Not that bale, I want a square grass unwrapped. Let's just drop down 2 there. And you'll immediately see it's feeding the bales to the sheep. And now if I go into my animals, which is there, go to my sheep, there they are, full. Alright, and now if I forward time a bit, I should, within 2 hours or so, I should actually see some wool pallets appearing here. So let's just have a look if that is true. There it's 9 o'clock. We should see a first pallet pop up there. 0 liters of wool. we should get, there you go, you see. So everything working, the pallet spawner is working, the animal buying is working, the water and the food is working. If you have a problem with your, that's the other thing I wanted to discuss with you guys. If you have a problem with your, and this automatic gate of this map, it is incredibly annoying. I know some of you guys do like these things that automatically open, but I mean, for me, it's so unrealistic, and it's annoying, you know, when you walk in front of a gate and whoop, the thing pops open. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, I want to talk about your error on your food places. If you get a food place error, I want to quickly show you how to resolve that. So we're happy with the sheep pen, it's working. Everything else there is irrelevant. It's updating, it's working, so we don't have to worry about anything else there. But what I want to show you now is, if you go into your cow, if you have the error for your cow barn or for any of your husbandries that that the food places is out of the mesh, then all you do, guys, what I normally do is, I've modified this cow barn like crazy. If you look at the way that I've modified it, maybe let's have a look at it in game on the map, because that's going to be actually much better suited. So let's close the sheep barn, find the cow barn, which is there, and then here you can see how I've edited and modified it. And take a look at the nav mesh. It's in the air, guys, so you don't have to align it to the ground at all. You don't have to do anything to that nav mesh. You just keep it level, and the placeable function will place your nav mesh and bend it to the terrain, you know, which is nice, and your animals will follow the terrain. Alright, so what I want to show you is on the navigation mesh. If you have that error that these food places, by the way, this barn works like this. You put the food in, where's the food node? I think the loading trigger is not that. Food bale trigger, yeah, you do actually load it there. Food places is here. I've made it that the food pops up here, so you feed it there. That's your 8 food places is sitting out there. That's your spawning point for the food when it goes, and that's the exact full route node for food. Okay, so your food is going to be delivered here. So you'll bring your trailer, and if we look at our, just want to fill you guys in, loading trailer, that's for the loading. I don't know why they don't keep these things together, you know. It's always good to have your things to full volume food. That's the full plane. Bale trigger. Yeah, it is definitely the exact full route node for the food. So the what I wanted to do was the markers. Where is the warning stripes? Here we go. Warning stripes is in there. Marker food, there it is. Alright, so that is where you drop off your food. Now what happens is your mesh, if you bring in your mesh, the easiest thing to see, I actually wanted to just show you this, how it looks and how it's set up here, but let's go into the actual cow barn here, and then it's easier to have a look at the problem from this angle. So if I now go import that mesh of ours for the cows, the one that's dynamically loaded, so we go to custom cow, and there's the nav mesh. So I bring the nav mesh in, alright, and now I'm going to have to make my navigation route node visible. So I want to see the walking plane is there and the mesh is there. Alright, so that is our mesh. So there you go. So now if I look now at my food places, food places, and I take food place 1, you can see immediately it's at a small distance away from the nav mesh, and if I go to my navigation mesh there, it's still inside the nav mesh, the actual one, because this is the built nav mesh, but the green that you see now is the actual perimeter. So just make sure that this food places of yours is inside the green one and not outside. So that is the one that the cows is going to walk on, and the edge of that mesh is here. So you shouldn't have anything in this perimeter. So your food places must be between or in between the edge of that and this blue mesh, if you understand what I'm saying. Because remember, we exported this root node, this one we exported, and then we created this walking navigation mesh, the blue that you see. So that blue is where the animals walk on, and then the actual navigation root node is this green. So long as your food place is somewhere on the green, but I would say the distance from the edge, rather, but take half of that and put your, like mine, if you look, my thing is there, the edge. So if you check that food plane, it's like half of it. So they are all aligned that way. So if you look at them, they're all going down like that, and they're all inside the green, but halfway between the actual blue mesh and the edge of the green. So if you've got it like that, surely you shouldn't have a problem. And if you do, just move your food places a tiny bit closer. What I do is I just move this main transform forward and backwards, because they are all connected to the main transform of the food places. So if I move this now, for instance, let me show you, that food place is there like that distance. So if I move the main transform that away, you'll now immediately see I've moved it fairly into the blue, which is not good. Alright, so that's where they walk, and this is where they eat, because their head sticks out a bit from this walking plane, you know. And that's basically it, guys. Take that, you can use that on all your animal husbandries, that tip, and just do the same thing for all your husbandries, and all should be well. You shouldn't have that thing popping up again. Great. And while I'm here, I just want to quickly have a look. I see my that is the sheep barn. I can close that. I see that my milk tank is a tiny bit too high. So if I now go to visuals, where is that milk tank? There it is, the milk tank. That's the milk unload, milk trigger. I think it's under visuals, if you ask me. Oh, full master, that's for the slurry, the liquid manure. Milk tank. I don't see it now, but anyways, I need to just lower my milk tank spawn point. There is a thing for the milk tank. That's a straw. It's a milk trigger. I remember seeing it. Water places, navigation, marker milk, animals, liquid manure, food, clear level, foliage test, don't have no visuals. Am I missing it? That's just visuals. I honestly don't see it now, but anyway, I'll have to have a look for it, and just sort my milk tank is somewhere here, and then it places it a little bit in the air, like tiny bit, but it's just a bit, it's like on the top of the grass, you know. Don't like that at all. Anyways, well guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been an insightful video. Remember to like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Do click that subscribe right now. Don't forget about it. It's important to me. So yes, if you like my stuff, please do. Appreciate that very much, guys. I'll catch you on the next one, man. Take care. Cheers.